I completely understand the feeling with which you were expressing both the things. I think a lot of our audience are going to get what we are talking about and how strong is the feeling when we are having a soul to soul connection and when it is not. So there is a clear line, differentiating line that this is good for you, good for your soul, good for your body, mind, and this feeling is not good for you. That's pretty clear when we discuss this. So, but I have what over the period of time when we grow up like 45, 46, why do we generally it is a very known phenomena in our society that अब इतने साल हो गए शादी के अब प्यार कम हो जाएगा या प्यार कम हो गया होगा या प्यार कम हो जाता है but why is it so? I mean, it is like that we start taking the other person for granted. That is why, or uh, we don't respond to our feelings, or something else,
Wow,
or
this
is it
is
related to our changes in our body because women is going through a menopause, and that's why the changes happen. I'm not sure. How do you want to address it?
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. So I'll tell you what happens. Again, it goes down to the point that for us, love is transactory. Now, when we get married, for instance, a woman, even if she is a career woman, invests a lot into her family, will balance between home and family. A man invests into the family by going out there and earning and wanting to do everything for his family. Then the kids, you invest all your love into your kids, and then they grow up and then they leave the home. And in all of this, everything that you've done in the name of love and marriage is a transaction every day. Expectations met, not met. And you become so dry, so hollow because you've not loved, and you've not loved yourself, because it's built up right from the very beginning. Love is what you do for others. Love is what you get when you do for others. It's a transaction. And then suddenly, when you reach the midlife, the kids are out, they don't need you, you return to yourself. But you don't know how to meet yourself because you feel so hollow. You don't feel hollow and empty like the flute. You feel hollow and empty. एक खोखलापन आ जाता है. A flute is also hollow and empty, but you can play tunes through it. Krishna plays the tunes of love and longing. But we become खोखला, जिसमें म्यूजिक नहीं होती है, सिर्फ आवाज होती है. That is the time for all the midlifers out here to come back to yourself and understand yourself, to visit your narrative, not as a bichari or a bichara, not as a victim, but as a hero and heroine of your story, that you have made all these sacrifices because you love and you have loved. But now it's time, my dear friend, that I want to love myself and revisit my marriage, my relationship, my community, and make myself like that beautiful flute through which a purpose is being played.
So true. I think all of us have gone through this who are into midlife. They have gone through this feeling at one point of time. They get this feeling, and as we move up the ladder, we don't even realize that. I mean, we take for granted ourselves for self love. We we take it for granted that there's no need to self love now. We are 45. We have loved enough ourselves now. Who to self love? Why to self love? Type, but that's important at this point of time, and I hope that our viewers, our listeners, uh, get this message in the right spirit. So taking to a different route now, how do you think this emotion impacts positively to our stress and resilience mentally?
Wow, that's beautiful. You know, when have you ever experienced that feeling of pure love? And there's a vibration of expansion, and every cell of your body feels so relaxed because you're experiencing love. Not love that is transactory, not love ki mujhe ye karna hai, wo karna hai, mujhe ye chahiye, mujhe wo chahiye, not that kind of love. not the give and take, but you're just so in love. You're looking out and you're seeing the sunset, and this, you shiver, your hair stands on end, and you're experiencing love. The body feels so healthy in that moment. See, a lot of our health, the weaknesses in our health, our ill health, our diseases, is because we have turned away from ourselves and we've not loved ourselves enough. Let's look at what disease is. Break it down into two. Dis-ease. Displacement of ease with ourselves. When you love, you are at ease with yourself. When that is displaced, you are going to be diseased. So automatically,
Mhm.
when you love yourself, you nurture yourself, you exercise, not because it's a torture, but because it's actually detoxifying your cells. It is bringing light to your cells. You're feeling lighter. You eat healthy because this kind of food nourishes you, nurtures you. You indulge in things that awaken your senses to the beauty within you and beauty around you. That is love, and that then will make you well physically, emotionally, mentally. So, yes, self love, self
True.
compassion, and self empathy is what you need to give yourself to be useful to others. But you prefer to be used instead of being useful to others, and that is not love. If you are being used in a relationship, that is not love. That is not loving someone else. When you're being useful in a relationship because your body, your mind, and emotions are so unconditional and so bright and so out there, then you're being useful to everybody and primarily to yourself.
Beautiful. I think that explains so well that how should we take care of um, ourselves basically, and then this concept of how useful and being used, you have differentiated it in a very, very nice manner. So when we talk about love, and there comes a lot of responsibility in a relationship, and sometimes uh, what happens is this responsibility, we forget love, and the relationship goes through a lot of challenges sometimes, like when you were also in your career dealing with the people, when you were into counseling, uh, then what is that one thing you want to tell to, in any relationship, be it friendship, be it husband and wife, be it mom and daughter, mom and son, because every relation transacts through a different challenging times. So what do you want to tell them, that usually the counseling happens between only husband and wife? So when the relationship is getting tough for one person on, and then ultimately it gets impacted at both the sides, what one thing you want to tell them, that how they should look back, or what they should think before getting to that decision making thing, that what is it, that what was the commitment you made while you got married, or think of everything what you had beautiful about this relationship, like we usually talk about, or something different, as a person, as an emotional coach, you want to give some suggestion to people who are going through challenging times in their relationship, what they should do to remain happy. Of course, they're one side of relationship, they're going through challenges, that will go, but how they should balance themselves when they're going to work, when they are uh, not dealing with those challenges at that time.
So, it's such a beautiful question, and I'm gonna, without making it too long, and I'm sure we can do an episode on this. It's so beautiful, but first thing we have to understand why the difference is. Again, it comes to the ego, right? Now, the ego, not the identity of the self, but the ego that is nourished and nurtured on the basis of the differences. Another very important aspect is the lie with which we come into a relationship. And we live that lie. But there's a part of us that does not want to live that lie anymore. Did we come together for convenience? Did we come together for security? Did we come together for because the whole world is getting married and we wanted to get married? In the first place, we begin a lot of our relationships, and especially marriage, with a lie. And at some point, that lie cannot be stretched any further. So when couples come for counseling, the first thing is bringing them to be truthful to themselves and then to each other, to accept themselves and accept each other, to speak it out. If the differences are so irreparable, at least to ensure that they can part ways beautifully and amicably. But if it can be repaired, then help them repair it by first repairing themselves. Expectations, hardwired ego programming, insecurity, inferiority, jealousy, comparison, romantic movies that make you feel like this is what marriage is about. The courtship romance that was so beautiful that you can't let go of. And every day you're hoping, but when we courted, you were like this. And then over the years, you're still hoping that you could still be that in that courtship period. To be in that courtship period, transition through life as if you're courting the person. Friendship. Look at Radha Krishna. Their love was so beautiful. She understood he has a purpose. He's got a lot more, but I unconditionally love him. That relationship, जो एक होता है ना सखा सखी का, that is love. Longing, understanding. Love is what women are doing daily, whose husbands are on the border protecting our country. They get married to that defense personnel, knowing that their husband is going to be away for the longest time, but still loves them and longs for them. That is love. Are you saying that whatever we go through daily is harder than what that woman whose husband is at the border protecting our nation is going through? Does she not have her wishes? Does she not experience love? So stop looking at love as a transaction or as something that is sold to us through marketing agencies. Love is you, and loving yourself is everything.
That's such a beautiful answer you gave when we talk about that uh, how challenging can a relationship be and how to move forward or take whatever is the decision, how to take every decision beautifully and accept it, acknowledge it, and then. So sometimes what we have seen in this overflowing, I mean, when we get too much excited in love, too much, we've even seen in at every age, we see that. Even if a kid, when he's so excited, love, love, love. He gets so excited. It's difficult for them to make them sleep. And then at adolescent, they have a different they have their hormones playing their role. Then in a marriage, there's a different excitement. So sometimes the overdose of love is harmful.
It's not the overdose of love, it is the inability to be able to manage love and the expression of love. That also needs taming because too much of excitement is harmful, too less of excitement is. So that's where we come into love management. Like we talk about anger management, emotions need to
Mhm.
be managed, and love too needs to be managed because it's an expression, it's a feeling, it's a part of us.
Right. I think that's a beautiful answer. And as we are going to wind up this episode, I want to take your opinion. One thing in spirituality of our of our Hindus, one thing I want to ask you, which is your idol? I mean, when it comes to love, who comes to your mind and why?
So I'll tell you actually, I feel it is Shiv and Parvati because Shiva and Parvati in their eternal marriage knew their respective purposes. While Parvati took her forms in the Devi form and she went around creating nature, Shiva sat in his meditative form. And they beautifully represent the difference between the masculine and feminine energies and how yet they had a beautiful family. And in spite of their differences, their marriage has been so important because love is what kept them together.
That's a beautiful thing you have talked about when you talked about Shiva and Parvati. And I think as they are the epitome of being so strict with together when they had a fight when over the Ganesha thing, and we get their love for each other because we have never seen, we have never read, or we have never even interpret. No one has ever interpreted their love with any condition or with any sort of that uh, this thing or this situation has uh, overpowered the emotion of love in between them. That has never, we have never seen. That is so unconditional, and the way they emerge and they emerge together is beautiful. Even when Shiv usually comes, when we think of Shiva, we think of Tandav Roop when he's angry. Even at that time also, Parvati has always tried to uplift him with whatever emotion she sits there. We have seen in lot of picturizations that she's sitting behind and looking at him, letting him express it, and then consoles him, or then give him the advice she wants to give. That is so beautiful expressed throughout, and the way you have expressed is absolutely incredible.
You know,
I
when you
think we
said
need.
that, it comes to the other aspect of love, which when we discussed about married couples and intimacy and love making, right? Um, the communion of the male and the female is always shown through Ardhanarishwar, the coming
Hmm,
together and the merging together, which you just mentioned. So when you were saying that, the picture that came to me was Ardhanarishwar. If that is not love, then what is?
absolutely, absolutely. And I think we know very less about the love in our spiritual books. We don't really get that emotion out of them when we read them in our daily life. And what we get is usually what we have seen in the serials, or whatever we have seen in the movies, in our spiritual movies. That's it. When we will actually read it, or hopefully we sometimes discuss it in our one of our episode, then we will have another angle towards this emotion. And I think this emotion is, we cannot cover in one episode. It is a emotion which is beyond just one episode. And I would like to sum it up with a uh, thank you. Thank you for taking your time. And it's beautiful talking about this emotion. And hopefully, we will be decoding many more emotions in the upcoming episodes. Any last thing you want to say to the viewers?
Love yourself so much that you can love your world, because only love heals our world.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gunjan. As always, beautiful conversation, beautiful questions. Thank you.
What are emotions? Are they responses or reactions to feelings, thoughts? Are they stored within our body, or do they come from outer space? Are they responses to our feelings or our thoughts? What are emotions? Join me, Karishma Chhatrapati, an emotional wellness expert, inspirational speaker, and author, as I take you through a journey decoding emotions so that you thrive in emotional wellness and use emotional intelligence to live your best life ever.